The shuttle doors slid open, and a wave of cool air drifted through the arrivals hall of the orbital station. Travelers stepped out with bags trailing behind them as they hurried toward long transport tubes that shuttled people to the lower decks. Among the crowd stood a tall man in a flawless white coat with silver trim. He moved with an air of precision, every step measured. Anyone who looked closely could see a faint glow pulsing under the fabric on his wrist. It was the mark of high authority in the Stellar Union, reserved for those who shaped the future of entire colonies. He was known across systems by one name, Reed, a calm and controlled figure who directed large scientific projects, managed teams of thousands, and made decisions that shaped planets. He rarely visited public stations without a full escort. Yet today, he had arrived with only a quiet internal alert from his personal A and one request from a staff member stationed on the platform. The message he had received earlier had been short. "Sir, we have an urgent situation. A young visitor is stranded. She has one request related to a performance request. She insists it must be heard by someone who can help." Reed normally ignored messages like this. He was a practical man. Yet something in the staff member's tone made him pause. It was rare for anyone to send him anything emotional or uncertain. He decided to check it himself while he waited for his next transfer. Not far from the arrival gate, near a small observation lobby, a little girl sat on a bench clutching a small travel bag. Her hair was tied with a worn ribbon and her clothes were simple. The station lights reflected softly on her face. She was not crying, but her eyes held the look of someone carrying more weight than she understood. A staff attendant stood beside her and looked relieved when Reed approached. "Sir, thank you for coming. I did not know who else to call. The girl has a request and claims it is urgent." Reed studied the girl. She looked no older than 9. Her hands were small, but steady as she held the bag. When she rose and faced him, there was a spark of determination hidden behind her tired expression. Reed kept his tone gentle. "What is your name?" the girl answered softly. Lena. "What brings you here alone?" She swallowed before speaking. "I need help. My mom is sick, and the clinic on our moon outpost can't treat her. The shuttle we were supposed to take broke down. They told me the only one leaving soon is your ship. They said no one can board it without your approval." Reed blinked. This was indeed unexpected. His ship carried scientists and critical cargo. It had no passenger space open. He needed clearance from multiple departments even for small changes. It would take hours, maybe longer. He sighed. "Lena, I'm sorry, but I cannot authorize that so easily. It is not within my power alone." Lena lowered her head, gripping her bag tightly. "I understand. But they also said something else. They told me you like music, and that sometimes music helps people make decisions." Reed frowned slightly. Music. He had not touched a piano in a long time. Not since his own family days on the homeworld. The staff attendant stepped in. "Sir," she insisted on bringing the small keyboard in her bag. She said she needed someone important to hear her play. Reed gestured for Lena to continue. "And how does this help your situation?" Lena whispered. "I want to play something for you. If the song can reach you, maybe you will find a way to help even a small bit." Reed hesitated. He was a logical thinker. Music did not influence regulation approvals. Yet he saw no harm in letting the girl play a short tune. It might calm her, give her hope, or at least let her express something she was holding inside. He nodded. "All right, play for me." Lena opened her bag and carefully lifted a compact, foldable keyboard. It was old, with worn edges and fading keys, but it powered on with a soft chime. She placed it on the bench, sat with calm posture, and set her fingers lightly over the keys. A few travelers slowed as they passed. A child with a keyboard in a busy orbital station was not common. Even the soft hum of the landing bay seemed to quiet down as if the station itself waited. Lena closed her eyes. Then she began to play. The first notes were gentle and clear. They carried a quiet honesty, like a personal story told without words. Her fingers moved with surprising ease, small yet confident. The melody rose and fell like a voice speaking through music. Reed stood motionless. The sound was simple, but something about it felt alive. It carried sincerity he had not felt in years. The melody formed the shape of hope mixed with fear, love woven with worry. Each note felt like an emotion the girl could not say aloud. A passenger stopped. A technician returning from maintenance froze halfway through the hall. A group of travelers on their way to a meeting paused outside the lobby entrance. Even the staff working behind the security desk lifted their heads. The station grew still. Lena kept playing, and Reed realized he was feeling something he had not expected. A memory, one he had not touched in a long time. He remembered standing beside his own family long ago. He remembered the soft sound of a home piano. He remembered a promise he had made to himself back then. A promise to never lose the human purpose behind his work. Yet somehow, in the years of leading projects and managing vast responsibilities, the human side of his mission had grown distant, lost in reports, decisions, and schedules. But this child, with her small travel keyboard and fragile hope, had revived a feeling he thought he had buried for good. When Lena reached the final note, she let it linger until it faded into the air. The silence that followed felt deeper than the music itself. Reed inhaled slowly. It was the first breath he had fully noticed in minutes. Lena looked up at him with steady eyes. That is all I can offer. My mom always said that when words are not enough, music might help people understand. I hope you heard what I could not say. Reed tried to speak, but his voice caught. He cleared his throat. Your song was beautiful. Lena nodded politely. Thank you. Reed looked at the staff attendant, who waited anxiously. He straightened himself. I cannot break official protocols, but I can take responsibility for something else. The next supply shuttle heading toward your outpost is under my supervision. It is leaving in less than an hour. I can authorize a special medical package and include a passenger. Lena gasped softly. Me, but how will I reach my mom in time? Reed replied calmly. The supply shuttle has priority clearance. It will reach your outpost faster than any civilian transport. Faster than my own flight. Lena pressed her hands together with hope returning to her face. You mean I can go, you can go. And I will also send a medical support capsule with upgraded supplies. It might help stabilize your mom until the specialists arrive. Tears formed in Lena's eyes, but she did not sob. She stood tall. Thank you. You are saving her life. You really are. Reed felt a warmth spread through him. The staff attendant signaled for Lena to follow and prepare for boarding, but the girl hesitated. She looked up at Reed again. Sir, may I ask one more thing? Reed gave a small nod. Yes. Lena lifted her keyboard slightly. Will you take care of this for me until your next visit to the outpost? It is old, but it holds memories. I want to bring it back after she gets better. Reed accepted the small instrument. I will guard it. You have my word. Lena smiled with relief before hurrying with the attendant toward the shuttle gates. Reed stood alone for a moment, holding the keyboard. He ran his fingers gently along the faded keys. The station sounds gradually returned, but he felt changed, softer, clearer, reminded of why humans reached for the choose. Stars in the first place. He turned toward the observation window and watched the supply shuttle ignite its engines. The flame trail glowed bright before the craft launched into open space. As it vanished into the dark, Reed felt a single tear slip down his face. The moment surprised him, but he did not wipe it away. It belonged to the music, to the child. to something he had almost lost. Behind him, a nearby traveler whispered, "What a strange day." Even the director looked moved, but another replied. It was the song. I felt it too. Reed finally stepped away from the window and walked toward his own departure gate. His eye assistant spoke softly into his earpiece. "Sir, are you ready for your scheduled inspections?" Reed looked down at the keyboard he held. He answered with calm clarity, "Not yet. Delay the next meeting. I want to review the new outreach program and increase the medical supply budget for remote outposts." The AI registered the change. Understood. Reed walked with a new purpose. He felt the weight of responsibility, but for the first time in a long while. He also felt the spark that had once guided him. He had been reminded by a child with a worn keyboard. When words fail, humanity can still speak, and sometimes a single song is enough to change the course of a life.